Sri Vrindavana Vishaya-Ācārya Kabe Vishaya-Ācārya Kabe Shuddha hobe mana kabe hama Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram Hare
Ram,
Ram
Ram,
Rama Ram
Hare
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare Ram
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Ram,
Ram Ram
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Ram,
Ram Hare
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram Hare
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram Hare
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Ram, Hare
Hare Ram
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram,
Hare
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 Ram, Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
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 Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Krishna,
Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Chant and be happy.
Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada, and welcome to the Wednesday night reading and discussion of Caitanya-caritāmṛta with HKS, the Hare Krishna Society, and Prabhupada Disciples Association. I think that the slides at the beginning of the program that we designed are indicative of the philosophy that we follow with our group and its presentation of Prabhupada's philosophy unchanged. And of all groups in the world, we are the group that represents this philosophy. Some others may, that's all right. I'm not sure who they are, but I know that we do. And it's self-manifested in our slides and our discussions and explanations to everyone. And I know birds of the same feather flock together. Yes, so our group is gradually increasing. And we're very proud of Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. How many people since the Prabhupada festival last week have decided to take initiation? They internally have decided that they want to be a part of this group and participate in our preaching programs and work cooperatively, humbly, without false ego, to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada with some of Prabhupada's direct disciples. And I wanted to mention this, that over the last week, I've had almost 2 hours of interviews with Siddhanta Prabhu, who has a YouTube channel, Ram Raghava, called Prabhupada Memories. And if you look it up, you'll see that he has over 400 disciples of Srila Prabhupada who had direct association with Srila Prabhupada speak on their memories with him. And we've made, well, I don't want to say but I did. I made a strategic alliance with him to feature these memory shows on our program. So that's going to be, in addition, Ram Raghava, to our regular schedule. We're going to insert these memories so we can hear the memories of the other Prabhupada disciples. They may not be active, but they have fond memories. And this is greatly appreciated because people that associated with Prabhupada, even you had the 12 apostles, how many apostles were there, Vijaya Pandit? How many apostles were there?
12.
12? Okay, there's the answer. So even though Jesus had 12 apostles, the apostles were kindly remembered and have been kindly remembered and respected down through the ages because of their direct association with Jesus Christ. It's logical. So in the same way, we're blessed that we have a group of devotees, first generation, second generation devotees that are focused on Prabhupada, on his Vani incarnation, which is very important if they're qualified to understand the teachings, and if not, they can learn from us. We can teach them because we have a role. Everyone has a role. I've been talking to one of our God sisters about culture, the spiritual culture, just like she's been involved in many companies, over 40 companies in her work career with big companies like Microsoft and companies like that as an executive. And they have rules. They have a lot of rules. As you know, Ram Raghava, just like in the military, there are rules. If you don't follow the rules, guess what happens to you? You get court-martialed. Goodbye. You got to go. There's a culture in association with Vaishnavas, very important one. And Siddhanta was asking me this question, Yaśodā, about why Prabhupada gave me the gift of his kirta. Here it is here. Why he gave me this gift. He was asking me, he asked me, I thought it was a difficult question for me to answer because, you know, what could I say? I mean, Prabhupada had his own reasons for doing it. It was part of appreciation for the work our group had done to purchase what is nowadays a $30 million building. And Prabhupada could see past, present, and future. He saw the significance of this, the service. And believe me, I did mention to Siddhanta that one of the qualities that Prabhupada demonstrated to me practically was his humility. He was very humble and not interested in personal glorification at all. He had no ambition like that. And even though we made a lot of mistakes and I thought I was going to get chastised by Prabhupada severely, he was so appreciative of the service that our group did. It wasn't one person, it was everybody. That he was very humble and kind to us all, and especially to me. You know what happened? Prabhupada, again, getting back to this Prabhupada memories, Prabhupada wanted to buy the Detroit temple and the Toronto temple at the same time. And when he came to Toronto in 1975, we were all in his room, and he thought we went to see the church together as a group in dhotis and shaved heads and tilak. And when the priest and that saw us, because we didn't go undercover, we were uncovered, they were shocked. And then Prabhupada called Romeshwar on Pembroke Street from that bachelor apartment he was staying at. And he asked Romeshwar, how much money do I have in the BBT? And Romeshwar told him, right in front of all of us, $300,000. So Prabhupada had been saving money because that was the function of the BBT, to publish books and to build temples. So he was exercising his own plan in front of us all. And then he said, okay, he turned to Jagadish, he said, I want you to make an offer to the church for $300,000. He was ready to drain his treasury for the purchase of Toronto Temple. Okay, very interesting. And of course, we related later in Mayapur how we tricked the people after, when I took presidency, and then we concentrated, because he said this one thing, after they turned us down. He said, well, it's nice if you want to get this temple, but you have no money. He was prepared to give the money, but it wasn't enough money, and we had no money. Therefore, there was no way of getting this building. It's just a reality. You can't buy things with air. You have to buy them with cashola. So when I was put into the role of, it was a role, like we all have roles. That's a culture. And people respect each other's roles. We have a spiritual culture here, by the way. And we're insisting that people follow this culture as it unfolds. We insist. Because birds of the same feather flock together and people want to. So at any rate, after that, I think it was when I came back from Mayapur that year in 76, yes. I decided, okay, we're going to undertake a Sankirtan marathon. And Prabhupada didn't know about our idea. And actually, I didn't know because they had tried to sell the building after we failed to a developer, Murray Goldman, because it's in a prestigious spot in Toronto, very up from the Parliament buildings. And they thought, okay, we'll tear the church down and we'll build condominiums. So what happened was the deal fell through. Oh, yeah. Now, in the meantime, I was still on a campaign to find a new location for us. And I looked at a big nunnery location up by the Castle Loma. I looked at a building owned by the Jehovah Witnesses. I was traveling all over all the time looking. And at the same time, we had our Sankirtan parties working to raise the money. Because what can you do with no money? That's what Prabhupada told us. You have no money. I never went to Prabhupada again for the money. And we went ahead and raised the money. We raised $100,000. Back then it was a lot. We saved it up. And then we had the money. I had it in our bank account. I was saving it. And what happened was the lawyer at the time, who was a famous lawyer in Toronto, was a friend of mine, Hart Pomerantz. He had a TV show called The Law and Me. He had been working for us on some legal cases. I've been in a lot of legal cases, million-dollar lawsuits, the Robin George case and other cases, big cases against us. He called me up on the phone. He said, hey, guess what? I said, what? He said, that building that you guys were looking at to buy is come back up for sale. The city wouldn't approve tearing it down to build condominiums. Very interesting. And then we took a plan to move forward, not notifying Prabhupada. And we went on our own and did it. We made the deals. I'm not going to get into the details. It's real estate related. And in the end result was, when Prabhupada found out, because we told him we were trying to make a bid, when he found out that we got the building, he sent me a letter and said, it's a topmost triumph for Krishna that you've got this building. And so he came to see us, and it was a wonderful pastime then. But the point is that without money, it is hard to do things. We're not after money, but at the same time, we have to be realistic in everything that we do. So on it goes, Prabhupada's pastimes. And we're going to be sharing pastimes like this, all kinds of pastimes, in our upcoming programs from other God brothers and sisters, of course. And this will be a wonderful addition. And we're looking to add more things with our production team. You know, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, you know about the evolution of a show. We've been up and down on the yo-yo quite a bit. And I'm not going to go over the history because people come and go. Some people qualify and some people disqualify. And at the same time, when you're doing a production, you have to work with people that want to do this, want to serve, and want to volunteer their time with all of us to do that. So it's a great thing that we have a nice production team now, really quite extraordinary. And we're fortunate to have some very qualified people that are advising us and working with us to achieve a higher level of production. Because I'm going to stop, but we have a philosophy with our group. You hear, okay, you chant. Well, chanting, that's something you do at home, correct? You do kirtan, you do japa. That's your personal commitment. And then another rule that we have is you have to come to the classes 3 times a week, especially if you want to be a Prabhupada disciple in our lineage, in our culture. And this is a rule. You have to follow that. If you don't do it, it's not part of our rules, not part of our culture. You can go to other groups and get your initiation, that's fine. That's your independent free will. But we created this culture, and along with that, with these two things, Forest Temple, good to see you. I've been trying to call you, by the way, quite a bit. I don't know, I can't get through. Along with that, you have to serve. We want to see, we've developed an oath of allegiance. And I'm not stressing it in our program, although we have an oath of allegiance, but we're working on it to let people understand what it means, not to exclude them from our group, to include them in our group based on the principles that we have created for this culture. And this is the principle. Chant, hear, chant, preach, distribute Srimad Bhagavatams, and work cooperatively with the God brothers and God sisters in our service. And this will make us successful. And this will be a teamwork program that we will advance further as we move forward step by step while we still can. That's it. Very simple. Simple for the simple. Prabhupada said, difficult for the crooked. It's simple. And we hope everybody understands this is done out of love, not out of anger or any other motive. We're certainly not here for money. We're certainly not here to have disciples, and we're not here for fame. Material fame doesn't mean anything anyway. And spiritual fame nowadays, it's a dangerous path to take. But we're going to march forward, and we're going to move forward with our next section of the program after we introduce the program with the Prabhupada Shrotram. And I want to thank Shrestha Rupa for editing the section. Producing music or producing sound is very complicated, and she's eager to learn. I explained to her all the effects or plugins that are involved in the production. For example, reverb. There's like 15 types of reverb. There's plugins, compression, all types of effects, and then there's levels. You have to deal with levels in music. So she's eager to learn, and we're going to keep moving forward. We have people that want to introduce music. We'll also review them professionally so they can be in this professional environment and help us to build this show with people that are eager to serve and learn and listen. If you don't know, just listen. And when you learn and when you show the right attitude, then you can be engaged, because that's what you do. You have to be qualified. So we're going to go fed with the Prabhupada Shrotram, and you'll see how she has done this. Haribol.
Srila Prabhupada Stotram. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Krishna Kacheta Madamoha Vinashakarin Madrishti gochara Prabhupada Swamin Doshabhivritti paridushita manda buddhe Tanchintayami charanau tava bhaktiyetu Vrindavane ramanareti prasiddha bhumau Tatrapi Krishna Balarama Supada Mule Jnanam Param Parama Krishna Sudharma Ityuktam Dantastudeva Prabhupada Namo Namaste 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 Kripa Purna Drishti Namaste Namaste Mahananda Dhatri Namamo Namama Punaraksha Raksha Prasiddha Prabhupahimam Daksha Daksha Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Vanga Bhumijana Bhushana Ghora Leela Ghoranga Bhava Parisharana Matra Shila Radha Mukunda Pada Padma Manovilasin Ananda Rashi Prabhupada Namo Namaste Ananda Rashi Prabhupada Namo Namaste Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Fantastic. Very well done. And compliments to Rupa Goswami and Shrestha Rupa Devidasi for working as co-hosts with us, along with Ram Raghava, our whole team. So excellent work. We're going to move ahead with our next section, which is a Prabhupada lecture, I believe. Ram Raghava, is that correct?
Or did you want to read from the diary?
Oh, yeah, sorry. We have so many sections. We'll read from the diary. I sent all the diary items over, and we'll get to those right. If you want to put them up on the page, I was highlighting where we were. Thank you, by the way, so much. Where are we? Sunday the 16th. This is 1965, by the way. And we're going through a series of entries where Prabhupada was using his diary to organize his book selling. So he was setting up appointments with people to do the selling. So Sunday the 16th, hold on, 15th. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah, here we are. So this doesn't look like this. It's April 16th. Is that correct? Ram Raghava, where are we here? I don't see. Oh, yeah, here we are. Sorry. Let me see where we are. I'm going to find the page. Oh, that was, sorry everyone. I was moving ahead. I put the bookmark there. I don't see, what page is this on? Apologies. The 16th, is it 16th of April here? Problem is we don't have, all of us don't have the same books.
I'm trying to find somewhere on the pictures you sent me if it mentions the month, but
I see Sumati Maharajji is the key picture.
yes.
So let's see what day that was. Oh, here we are. My bookmark from Apocrypha. He sent me a gift of these bookmarks. So it's Sunday, the 16th of May. So we've already moved to that point. So at 9 a.m., Dikshtaji, Seth Baralja, 4:30, at his house, Giragan. So Prabhupada is setting up different appointments for him to go and meet people and distribute the Bhagavatam. Here we have, Srila Prabhupada had a speaking engagement in the early 70s with Sumati Maharajji, the proprietor of the Scindia Steam Navigation Company. She is referred to on the opposite page as Sumit Ben. Srila Prabhupada wrote to her after his arrival in America, and this letter is reproduced in the Reflections chapter on page 86. Also, Srila Prabhupada refers humorously to this 1965 meeting in the conversation on page 83. So we'll go through those in the future. On Friday the 21st, Sri Brajdal, 2, phone Chandrasekhar, 3, C. Dixit, 4, take food and rest, Sri C. Sumati Ben, 6, Dharmasya Katu, Gokula Das, allied publisher is 8, introduction letter for C.D. Deshaput, copy of letter to Sachdev. And then Mr. Chosky met in the presence of Sumiti Ben. Choki said, as soon as the following things presented, the free pass will be issued, and passport, visa, and P form. So a lot of details. So he's gearing up for his trip at the early stages. And we're going to see that as we read along on the 21st. Here, we'll get this page here. I'm having problems. I cut my finger in the kitchen, Rochisha. So I'm having problems grabbing the pages. Purchased a ticket for Delhi. So he's planning to go. Reserved on the date starting at 8:40, Janatan Press, ticket number, and the reservation, and he paid rupees 32. On June 9th, Sunil Rasidi, Post Box Blockman, Photoman, Letters to Friends, K.C. Raja. Left. This Hindi note was pinned to the diary on June 9th entry. It reads, reddish purple kumkum party powder, which is put on the forehead. 5 tolas, 1 tola equals 10 grams. And on Friday, May 11th, rupees 9.8 NP, 1 photo, letter from Scindia, from India, and Pennsylvania and back. Okay, so he's making these he's planning. He's in the planning stages. If you fail to plan, they say, Rochisha, plan to fail. If you fail to plan to fail. And that's what we're trying to do. We're always keeping ourselves mindful of what we're doing. Sunday the 13th, he purchased a ticket for Bombay starting at 22,665 at the night Dedra Dune Express. And there's the ticket and the arrangements. So he's on his way to Bombay, and he's going to go to see her. and plead with her to give him a ticket. On the 8th of Thursday, so nothing on these other days. He's working on his own. And then he's going to go see Chosky at 12 noon on the Thursday, the 8th. Okay. And then we have, on Friday the 9th, he's going to see the bank manager and J.M. Chosky. And there's his passport number. You can see it, it's written there. And it's Delhi 10665. Saturday the 10th at 3 p.m. to phone Brajlal Seth, and at 4 p.m. to see Gokul Das Sumya. On Sunday at 8 a.m. to phone Tarachand Gupta. Okay. And look at this here, over here. We have above on the Srila Prabhupada experienced no difficulty in obtaining his passport, and with the help of his friend and sponsor, Krishna Pandit, it was issued to him on June 10th. Preparation. And here we have obtaining the visa, however, proved more difficult. It was not until July 28th, after much endeavor, and with the help of Mr. Chosky from the Scindia Company, that it was finally approved. So nothing is easy. There's always tests, details. And let's see what we got here. On Monday the 12th at 6 p.m., and he was to meet Mr. Pandiwala, a chartered accountant, Bangu Brothers Private Limited, Netaj Subhas Road, Calcutta. And do we have another page? Yes, we do. Wednesday the 21st, Mr. Flex was purchased ₹1. And he's initialed it, ACB, I think that would be it. Passport on Friday the 23rd, a passport with Chokski for showing to Panchal. So he's going ahead with these arrangements. And we'll go to his arrangement for the train. He had a sleeping berth for Haworth reserved ticket. There's his ticket information, all the details here. And train starting at 1900 hours. On a Tuesday, the 27th, there was a form, number 63753, and other information from the Reserve Bank of India. On the 28th, he remitted by money order to Gaurchand Goswami before leaving for USA. June, July, August, September, October, I think he was paying rent for his room in Radha Damodar Temple, Prabhu Yasoda. Is this rent, advanced rent. And on the Thursday, the 29th, Dwarkara delivered one package of books to Srimad Bhagavatam. 35, book by Universal Book House, Dadar to Calcutta, under PWB, and the number from Dadar, and to pay rupees 750. So still, while he's making the arrangements to go, he continues on selling the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so we're carefully studying his life as he's preparing to undertake this great mission to board the Jaladuta in due course and travel to America. So we'll leave it at that. And we'll move now to our next section, which is the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava and the reading and discussion with Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhu, the Srila Prabhupada lecture now.
Oh, lecture. Sorry. Okay.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam.
Just try to understand how much ignorance we are. We are all in ignorance. This education is wanted because people, by this ignorance, they are fighting with one another. One nation is fighting with another, one religionist is fighting with another religion. But it is all based on ignorance. I am not this one. Therefore Shastra says, Jasyata buddhi kunapeti dhatu ke. Ata buddhi kunapeti. This is a bag of bones and muscles. And it is manufactured by 3 dhatus. Dhatu means element. According to Ayurvedic system, Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. Material things. So therefore, I am spirit soul. I am part and parcel of God. Aham Brahmasmi. This is the basic education. Try to understand that you do not belong to this material world. You belong to the spiritual world. You are part and parcel of God. Mamai Mansa Jiva Bhuta. In the Bhagavad Gita, God says that all living entities are my part and parcel. Manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani karsati. He is undergoing a great struggle for life under the impression, under the bodily impression that he is this body. But this kind of impression or understanding is animal civilization. Because the animals are also eating, sleeping, having sex, intercourse and defending in their own way. So if we also, human beings, if we are engaged with all this business, means namely eating, sleeping, sex, intercourse and defending, then we are not better than the animals. The special prerogative of the human being is to understand what I am. I am this body or something else. Actually I am not this body. I have given you so many examples. I am spirit soul. But at the present moment, every one of us is busy on this understanding that I am this body. Nobody is working on the understanding that he is not body, he is spirit soul. Therefore try to understand this Krishna Consciousness movement. We are trying to educate every man without any distinction. We do not, because we do not take consideration of the body. The body may be Hindu, body may be Muslim, the body may be European, body may be American. The body may be defined, style, just like you have got a dress. Now, because I am in saffron dress and you are in black coat, that does not mean we shall fight together. Why? You may have a different dress, I may have a different dress. So what is the reason for fighting? This understanding want at the present moment. Otherwise, it is a civilization of animals, just like in the jungle. There are animals, there are cats, dogs, jackals, tigers, and they always fight. Therefore, if we really want Shanti, Shanti means peace, then we must try to understand what I am. That is our Krishna Consciousness movement. We are teaching everyone what he is actually. But his position is everyone's position, not only your, everyone, even the animals. They are also spirit's power. They are also, Krishna claims that Sarvajonishu Kauntiya Sambhavanti Murtaya Tasang Mahajjani Brahma Ahanga Bija Pradapita. Krishna claims that I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. Actually, this is the fact. If we want to study the origin of creation, everything is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Just like the father gives the seed within the womb of the mother, and the seed grows a particular type of body. Similarly, we living entities, we are all part and parcel of God. So God impregnates this material nature, and we come out with this material body under different forms. There are 8,400,000 of forms. Jalajana Lakhani, Thavara Lakhavinsati. There is a list. Everything is there.
You can see these points that Prabhupada's making in these lectures from the early years are to help us qualify to arise above the animal platform, and in this way become eligible to begin the process of learning the truth under the Prabhupada discipline. And we must have discipline. If you don't have discipline, then there's disorder. So this discipline, the chanting of Hare Krishna, the hearing and reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, the association of working cooperatively with devotees, all these principles are part of our training program, our discipline. And with discipline, you can be happy. Without it, chaos. So we'll go ahead with this next section, which is Prabhupada chanting Jaya Radha Madhava, this bhajan with myself and Yaśodā have been to maybe 175 classes of Prabhupada's where he chanted like that. It was so blissful. And he's here with us tonight in his Vani incarnation. So chant along. Haribol.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Bhagavad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, your microphone is off.
Can you hear me, Ram Raghava?
Yes, I can hear you. And Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu's microphone is unmuted here on Zoom, but for some reason there's not a good connection.
Okay. What do you suggest? What we should do? What should he do? Let's try to get him on the line.
Maybe by phone?
There
How
could be a
about by phone?
fault somehow in his connection. What do you suggest?
Maybe by phone, if he can.
I don't know. That might not be so practical, everyone. Should he reboot, maybe? When
Yeah,
in doubt,
that's always a good thing to try.
when in doubt, reboot.
Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, if you can hear us, if you can leave the meeting and rejoin the meeting.
Technology not cooperating, unfortunately, everyone. Please be patient. We're having technical problems. This is something that goes on sometimes. Let's see what we can do.
Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, can you leave the meeting and rejoin?
Yeah. Let's see how it resolves itself, Rochisha Devi Dasi. We certainly need our respected speaker to be on line and his voice working so we can hear his chanting and all the things that wonderful things that he can deliver to us. Let's see, maybe he's rebooting. Okay, good. It's going to take just a second.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you.
I'm doing this from my cell phone here. I'm having
Okay. Thank you.
problem with my desktop with the
Thank you.
connection. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya. Naram cheva narottamam. Naram cheva narottamam. Devim saraswatim vyasam. Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. tato jayam mudirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, after offering respectful obeisances, one, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, two, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, three, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then four, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1, 2, 4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta. This reading is being conducted from the original non-adulterated 1974 version of Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and all synonyms, translations, and purports are from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses from Adi-lila chapter 1, which explains the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Glory to Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda. Glory to Advaita Chandra, and glory to all the devotees of Sri Gaura, Lord Chaitanya. 18 Thakur Gaudiya ki karye chenayat masat. 18 Era Charana Vandana Tire Morenat. These three deities of Vrindavana, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinatha, have absorbed the heart and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnava of the Lords of the heart. Next text. Grantiraram Vikari Mangala Charana Guru Vaishnav Bhagavanti Nirasmarana. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benedictions. Tinerasmaranayai vigna vinashana anayasayai nijavantita purana. Such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires. Se mangala charanoi trivida prakar vastu nirdesha shirvada namaskara. The invocation involved three processes: defining the objective, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances. We will proceed with the specific series of verses. Today we are reading from Adi-lila chapter 6, from text number 43. Se abhiman sukhe apana pasare, Krishna Dāsa o jive upadesha kare. Say that abhimana sukhe, in the happiness of that conception, apana, himself, pasare, he forgets, Krishna Dāsa, how you are servants of Lord Chaitanya, jive, the living beings. Upadesha kare, he instructs. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. He forgets himself in the joy of that conception and teaches all living entities, you are servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport by His Divine Grace. The transcendental devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so ecstatic that even the Lord himself plays the part of a devotee. Forgetting himself to be the Supreme, he personally teaches the whole world how to render service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 44. Krishna Dāsa Abhimaneyaya Ananda Sindhu Koti Brahma Sukhe Nahi Tara Eka Bindu. Krishna Dāsa Abhimane, under this impression of being a servant of Krishna. Yea, that Ananda Sindhu, ocean of transcendental bliss, Koti Brahma Sukha, 10 million times the transcendental bliss of becoming one with the Absolute. Nahe, not, Tara, of the ocean of transcendental bliss. Eka, one, Bindu, drop. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The conception of servitude to Sri Krishna generates such an ocean of joy in the soul that even the joy of oneness with the Absolute, if multiplied 10 million times, could not compare to a drop of it. Text 45. Muye Caitanya Das Ar Nityananda Dasa Bhava Samenahi Anyatra Ananda Mui I Ye that Caitanya Dasa, servant of Lord Chaitanya, Ar N Nityananda, of Lord Nityananda, Dasa Bhava, the emotion of being a servant, Sama, equal to, Nahe, not, Anyatra, anywhere else, Ananda, transcendental bliss. Translation. He says, Nityananda and I are servants of Lord Chaitanya. Nowhere else is there such joy as that which is tasted in this emotion of servitude. Text number 46. Paramaprayasi Lakshmi Hridaye Vasati Tenho Dasya Sukha Mage Kariya Minati. Paramaprayasi, the most beloved, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, Hridaye, on the chest, Vasati, residence, Tenho, she, Dasya Sukha, the happiness of being a maidservant, Mage, begs, Kariya, offering, Minati, prayers. Translation. The most beloved goddess of fortune resides on the chest of Sri Krishna. Yet she too, earnestly praying, begs for the joy of service at his feet. Text 47. Dasya Bhave Anandita Parishadagan Vidhi Bhava Narada Arashuka Sanatana. Dasya Bhave, in the conception of being a servant. Anandita, very pleased. Parishad Gana, all the associates. Vidhi, Lord Brahma. Bhava, Lord Shiva. Narada, the great sage Narada. Ara, and Shuka, Shukadeva Goswami. Sanatana and Sanatana. Translation. All the associates of Lord Krishna, such as Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Shuka, and Sanatana, are very much pleased in the sentiment of servitude. Text number 48. Nityananda Avadhuta Sabhati Agal Caitanya-caritāmṛta Premayoila Pagal. Nityananda Avadhuta, the mendicant Lord Nityananda, Sabhate, among all, Agala, foremost, Caitanya-caritāmṛta Preme, in the emotional, ecstatic love of being a servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Oila Pagal, became mad. Translation. Sri Nityananda, the wandering mendicant, is the foremost of all the associates of Lord Chaitanya. He became mad in the ecstasy of service to Lord Chaitanya. Text 49, 50. Srivasa Haridasa Ramadas Gadadhar Murari Mukunda Chandrasekhar Bakreshwar Isava Pandit Luka Parama Mahatva Chaitanya Dasya Sabaya Karaya Unmatta Srivasa Thakur Haridasa Thakur Amadasa Ramdas Gadadhar Murari Mukunda Chandrasekhar Vakreshwar Esaba, all of them Pandita Loka, very learned scholars, Parama Mahatva, very much glorified, Chaitanya of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Dasye, the servitude, Sabaya, all of them, Karayun Matta, makes mad. Translation: Srivas, Haridas, Ramdas, Gadadhar, Murari, Mukunda, Chandrasekhar, and Vakreshwara are all glorious and all are learned scholars. But the sentiment of servitude to Lord Chaitanya makes them mad in ecstasy. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shwanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshata Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yachi Punah Srimadrupa Padam Bhojatdhulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavato Smyaham Sadadasu Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pekshako Nityam Tat Prishta Sadkaromi Swam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Rup Shri Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We find in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains in its 4th chapter, text 11, Ye yatamam prapatam stateva bhajamyaham. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Now, this is very important because sometimes people will ask, well, if I surrender to Krishna, what benefit will I get? Well, the benefit, you'll be freed from all anxieties, for one thing. And second, as the more you surrender, the more you chant the name of Krishna, the more we serve Krishna without personal motivation, Krishna reciprocates. Krishna helps the devotee in his progressive march back home, back to Godhead. There's no artificial process. This is a natural process for every living being. In the other part of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, there is mentioned, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi, that this love for Krishna is eternal in the heart of every living being. There's no need of any artificial process. Sravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaye Uday. How does it get revived? By the process of Sravana Adi, the process of hearing, chanting, Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atmanivedanam. The ninefold process of devotional service is the actual way to revive this transcendental process. Recently, a devotee sent me a text of a lecture from Srila Prabhupada, a conversation where Prabhupada was asked, well, how do we get to be in the mood of the gopis? Prabhupada says, in this current stage of devotional service, you cannot get in the mood of the gopis. He says, first, you have to become liberated. Then that mood of the gopis will be revealed. There's no artificial process to come to the platform of the mood of the gopis, of the mood of the coward boys. This is not the process. The process is to engage under the direction and order of the bona fide Acharya, like Srila Prabhupada, in the process of Vaidhi Bhakti, become purified of material contamination. And then, eventually, when one becomes purified, it will be revealed. Srila Prabhupada was asked at one point in the late 1960s, what about this Siddha Deha to understand our perfection of relationship with Krishna? Prabhupada said, first you understand that you're not the body. Then this Siddha Deha will be revealed to you. Now I know that this is very controversial with certain types of Vaishnavas who think that you need to follow some artificial process. But Prabhupada made the whole process very simple, not complicated, not difficult. When the Nectar of Devotion came out in Los Angeles in July of 1970, several devotees was reading the book and they went to Srila Prabhupada and asked him, Srila Prabhupada, this book seems to be very difficult to understand, especially in the later parts of the book. What should we do? Prabhupada says, if you do not understand, you read it again. So the devotees pursued further and said, what if we read it again and still do not understand? Prabhupada said, you read it again and again, and eventually you will understand. When this book came out, Prabhupada said, this is the law book for ISKCON. Now I know that the managers of ISKCON have invented some so-called laws of ISKCON, which are mostly political in nature, but they should follow that instruction of Prabhupada, that the Nectar of Devotion, the unadulterated, non-edited, non-interpolated version, is the actual law book. Because we see that in the Nectar of Devotion, there are so many very important instructions that do not tally up with their so-called law book. The idea that an Acharya becomes a demon is one such example. Nowhere in Prabhupada's teachings or Prabhupada books does he ever teach that any of our previous Acharyas ever became a demon. If, for example, if you take the Bhagavad Gita and the list of the 32 Acharyas mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, you will not find any such example of a bona fide realized Acharya becoming a demon. But they've invented these interpretations to try to present some so-called era or veneer of ecclesiastical infallibility. That will not stand. If one is really sincere and follows the instruction of the Acharya, there's no need to invent or manufacture such interpretations. And this is the lesson we get from reading the teachings of Krishnadas Kaviraj in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta and his explanation of the exalted position of Advaita Acharya, simply to engage in pure devotional service under the guidance of the authorized Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, the current Acharya of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
That you made. Thank you very much. And I was speaking to Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu today, Ram Raghava, about him, how he came to Krishna consciousness. And it appeared to me, and I said to him, that his attraction to Prabhupada, he corrected me, I said 67 Expo, but it was actually 68. His attraction to Prabhupada was spontaneous. It wasn't artificial. And the signs in the early days where he had a big picture of Lord Chaitanya on his wall. And he was naturally attracted to Prabhupada as his guru. And he basically made a beeline to meet Prabhupada and take shelter of Prabhupada as a disciple. Now, what does that say to us all? That he was qualified, probably, I'm speculating, but I'm going to say it, from a previous birth. That previously he had been involved in spiritual life seriously in our disciplic succession, and Krishna just brought him right away to join Prabhupada's mission. So, qualification. You can be qualified from a previous birth, possibly, or you could be slow to the game, let's say, because of your previous offenses or mistakes. And we all make mistakes. It doesn't mean you're dismissed. It means that people are at different stages in Krishna consciousness based on their behavior. And some people get it, some people don't. And this we see very commonly in the material world. Nowadays they have these reels on Facebook. Maybe some of you see them. And I basically get my news from Facebook reels. I don't read the paper anymore. And it's after a while you watch it, it's just, you get scrambled brain. It's pathetic. I just go, that's it. I got to shut this off, and I just, boom, forget it. But the point is, a lot of times you see these videos of these kids, like 5 years old. They're playing the piano or the guitar like they were born with it in their hands. Like the ability that they demonstrate is extraordinary. And I look at it, being a musician, I go, this kid's 5 years old, he plays the bass better than I have. And I practiced it for 55 years. I go, just goes to show you that you accumulate your credits from karma in the past life. And Yaśodā-nandana, I don't want to embarrass him, but the point is this, and it's apparent to me that he took to Krishna conscious like a fish to water. Ruchisha Devi Dasi. And factually, for me, he's always Yaśodā-nandana Swami. Always been that way. I met him on a trip. We were in India, and I remember getting off the plane in Delhi, and we had a bus that someone had rented that we got on. And guess who were the two devotees that were running the bus? Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu and his partner at the time. What was his name? Not Giriraj.
Guru Kripa.
Thank you. Guru Kripa. I still remember sitting in the bus and in a seat with our other members and seeing them, especially Guru Kripa, carry on. And he was could I say, aggressive. And at the same time, they were both very scholarly. And they had a propensity for that, for Shastra, for, look what happened to Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. He was living in Vrindavan during Prabhupada's presence, and who made him the headmaster? Prabhupada. And what was, Prabhupada really wanted that the schools would be part of his culture, his legacy. And he opened a school in Dallas, Texas, as we know. And he opened a school in Vrindavan. And he put Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu in as the headmaster. Does that mean something? Does it? Yes, it does. And this Prabhupada Shotram that we're playing nowadays was a prayers that Prabhupada told him to teach his students. And what's he doing now? He's doing it in our class. And look what happened last week. Ananda, who wrote the prayers, actually joined us at the class. Wasn't that fantastic? And the point that I want to make, how did that happen? Ram Raghava, how did this happen that all of a sudden, 50 years from that date, approximately 48, the Prabhu that wrote the prayers came on our program, and Yashoda's chanting them in 2025. How did it happen? Give me an answer, Ram Raghava.
Krishna's arrangement because of glorifying his pure devotee.
Perfect answer. That's it. If you can't see Krishna working with us, you're blind. You're blind. People have lack of faith in God brothers. I know that. They've been scarred by their association with their experiences of seeking the truth through this door, through that door, through this door. They've been in 10 doors. And some of us, all of us have been persecuted by deviation, by difficulty. It's been unfortunate. But at the same time, there is hope. And the proof was that Krishna is working with us. And just see, look at the situation with the Bhagavatams. There's a very intricate story about the publication of the Delhi Bhagavatams that we went through. I'm not going to go over the details. It's not important right now. But I'm going to say this. It was Krishna's arrangement. If you can't see it, you're blind or you're not qualified. That's another reason. Some people are not qualified because they don't have the past credits to enable them to have the intelligence to see Krishna acting in his preaching work with his disciples, the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's disciples, and the name Prabhupada Disciples Association, just so everybody knows. That was not concocted. It was carefully thought out. Every word, it's only 3 words, PDA, Prabhupada Disciples Association. And the reason I came up with the name, because one of our god brothers, Agor, he created some kind of Prabhupada group. They kicked me out. They kicked me out of the group. I was a Prabhupada disciple. I was his temple president. He kicked me out because I didn't agree with their philosophy. They kicked me out. Okay, fine, that's all right. But the point is, why I made sure that I avoided that name, their name, close to that, and I said Prabhupada Disciples Association. So we're all Prabhupada disciples, the original disciples, and then the new disciples that are being initiated and are going to be part. We're all disciples of this association, We associate together to have classes, to motivate each other, and to work cooperatively to please Prabhupada in his mission to spread the message of Lord Chaitanya, like we're reading today, and for people to take up the service of this association in a cooperative fashion. Very simple. Simple for the simple, difficult for the crooked. Very simple. Hear, chant, serve. And that's stressed today in the verses that we read in Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Take to the service and work cooperatively to demonstrate. Here we have, what is it, Prabhupada? This is also behind the accident. This is the will of God. So if God is forgotten, then we simply struggling. Yes, we are thinking that we are the controller. We are wrongly directed, described as mudha, asses. Who does not take instruction from God and thinks that things will happen accidentally? Very well explained here in this quote from Srila Prabhupada. And we're going to move ahead with our next section of the program, Ram Raghava, which is Our Living Guru. Now this, finally, I'm going to write out the schedule. Our Living Guru is a wonderful book of explanation about the value of associating with Prabhupada and seeing him as the bona fide spiritual master. Because there is no link with Krishna unless you have a link with a bona fide spiritual master. These people that take initiation from these other bogus gurus, is when they offer their food to that guru, is it prasadam? No. So there's no value in association of people that are bogus. So let's go to Our Living Guru, if Yaśodā is with us, I hope. He's having technical problems. Go ahead. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, please. Uh-oh.
He's not back yet.
He might be. Let's do this, Ram Raghava. We're at times the Living Guru warns. While we're waiting for him to get back online, maybe you could lead the reading, please. Ram Raghava. Go ahead.
Okay. 6.3. We're
Yes.
reading from page 48.6.3. Question. At times, the living gurus, quote unquote, warn that taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada and not them means adopting a, quote, Christian conception, unquote. Any truth to this warning? Answer. Living gurus have started branding the worshippers of Srila Prabhupada as influenced by Christians, while they simultaneously adopt many Christian-styled ideas. Point 1. The GBC now calls itself the highest ecclesiastical body guiding ISKCON. And that's in Back to Godhead, 1991. Yet Prabhupada did not use this term favorably. Instead, he condemned the ecclesiastical Smarta Brahmins in India. This GBC ecclesiastical body now certifies more gurus, but Prabhupada said we should avoid rubber-stamped or ecclesiastically appointed gurus. Number 2, the entire philosophical foundation of appointed gurus resembles the College of Cardinals and their appointed popes.
Exactly.
Number 3, one living guru helped draft a position paper in 1985 stating that the living gurus must be viewed as popes. Number 4, one living guru started an interfaith movement and ordered his followers to dress as Christian monks. Number 5, the GBC's main writer also wrote, quote, Entering the Life of Prayer, unquote, which details his studies of various Christian ideas. 6, yet another living guru mixed Christianity with his drugs, sex, and Tibetan Buddhism movement. Number 7, Another recommended that his followers read Communication with the Spirit World, which says that Christ fell into illusion exactly as the living gurus have done. In short, some of the most blatant adaptations of pseudo-Christianity has manifested directly in the Living Guru project. Perhaps the living gurus have not studied history. There we shall find that the Christians also had a very famous program to make living pure devotees. Originally, all priests were called popes. Not until the 4th century did it become the distinctive title of the Bishop of Rome. They said that Saint Peter speaks through the Pope, just as the Living Guru project says that Prabhupada speaks through his successor GBC Living Gurus. The papal system holds elections to confer the papal office, just as the Living Guru project has nominations and elections. Eventually, popes excommunicated each other, just as living gurus have done. The popes came to a low moral standard, and a papal reform movement was started. Following exactly in those footsteps, the Living Guru project has also started a guru reform movement. One major effect, noted even by the public media, was the use of severe force and repression to control heretics. A heretic could even lose his life. Do we need to say whose footsteps the living gurus follow in? In 1409 AD, the Council of Bishops finally claimed to have ultimate authority over the Pope, and similarly, the Living Guru project has partially attempted to bring control back to the GBC Council and away from the absolute gurus. The problem is that the living gurus hold the majority voting bloc on the current GBC Council. The result is that the GBC has practically become another version of the 1978 Guru-Ācārya board. This identical problem manifested at the Vatican when the popes controlled the voting. At any rate, the basic system of electing, appointing, or conferring pure status upon others is definitely part of the Living Guru Project's theology. Some of the members of the Living Guru Project openly state that ISKCON needs figureheads like the Pope, and this is essential to the propagation of bona fide Krishna consciousness. However, Srila Prabhupada has never said anywhere that persons who desire to worship bona fide acharyas are influenced by a Christian conception. Neither has he established that sincere worshippers of Christ are Mayavadis. That's the end of that section. And very interesting. I went to a Catholic high school all 4 years, and I didn't know that about the history about the Pope.
It's very common for people to artificially want to become recognized by education and by position. You get appointed. There's quite a bit of information about Christianity and how they elect the Pope. So it can't be done by an ecclesiastical group that votes that someone is a pure devotee. And I sent you a couple of pictures. Now I was looking, I have in my catalog of photos, the pictures of a couple of the people that we've referred to there. But can you see them in the WhatsApp? Can you show? Now look at this, look at this photo. What do you think of that, eh, bro? Look at that. Is that a pure devotee? That's a Prabhupada disciple who deviated from Prabhupada's orders. Look at the beard. Look at the hair. Now I have another picture of him in robes, but I was trying to find it while we were reading, but I have it, and it is, he tried to set up a pseudo-monk situation. And look at this next picture. Look at that. Yes, so crazed, the eyes, eh, bro? He was insane. Go ahead, go to the next picture. Look at this picture. Now, this person, I know him very well. I worked with him for 10 years. So it's not like I don't know him. I actually know Keith and I know him, and have a lot of pastimes and stories that people want me to talk about in regards to them, and with other people that were associated with him, like Rodnath, for example. But that's not our job here today. But I'm showing, just look at the seat, Vijaya Pandit. Look at the seat. Gopal's seat compared to Prabhupada's seat. Right in public, he's got a bigger seat than Srila Prabhupada. Now, is that offensive? Well, if you can't see it, you don't understand much about disciplic succession. It's just highly, highly offensive. So these types of things have gone on. And here's some photos. People would say, well, how come you showed the photo? Well, they're online to millions of people. So we'll let you, all of you, see the fact and to make your own conclusion. Shrestha Rupa Devi Dasi from Bangalore, the computer center of India. Go ahead, Mother, please. You have your
Hare
hand up.
Krishna Prabhu, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hari
Please
Bol.
accept my humble obeisances. I have a couple of questions. As
Okay,
usual, coming back with questions.
our main speaker is not here, but we'll try or do our best with our group. Go ahead.
You are showing us these pictures. I
Oh,
want
yeah.
to understand, how are you different from them? You and Yaśodā Prabhu, why are we representing what we represent? How are we different? I want to understand so our group knows this is the way we need to take our philosophy forward. As explained to you and Yaśodā Prabhu by Srila Prabhupada. Please help us understand what Prabhupada wanted you both to do as devotees in this Hare Krishna movement.
Well, the one thing is we have Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. Unfortunately, his internet connection is not working, so we can table this for another time. But I wanted to say that Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, as we all know, stresses the principle of studying forensically the Shastra of Prabhupada that's unchanged. And by doing that, you can understand what is the principle of Guru Tattva, which is misunderstood by these other people. For example, this fellow had the bigger chair. That is not the way that you sit in a room where Prabhupada is on the Vyasa-san and you take a bigger seat. It's self-evident. The picture shows him as thinking that the mouse has become a tiger and he wanted to eat the guru. You have to be humble before the spiritual master, especially in public. The other thing is, this other person that we showed the picture, who's crazed, who is a deviant and all that type of thing, we won't go into the ugly details of it, was involved in a murder. Let's not talk about it. But we have proof, and we all know it. And there are books written about it. All the details are there. If you want to study it, you can. That is the difference between us and them. We are following Prabhupada under the direction of Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu and our other godbrothers in this group. In his Vani incarnation, we're forensically studying the scriptures. We have over 700 classes to explain this to people. 700. We're going in depth, and we will keep doing this as we march forward in time to continue this process of explaining the truth of the matter, the difference between Vani and Vapu. There is a big difference. People think, and Yaśodā already explained it earlier in the class, so if you want to go back and hear it, you can. The difference between Vani and Vapu. He calls it the experimental guru process. It's an experiment. It's a fraud. It's a program of misinformation. And we're trying to help people that are sincere, if you are sincere, or capable, if you're capable, by your current work or your past work, you have an ability to understand our mission, then you'll be able to understand how you, by connecting with Prabhupada in his Vani incarnation and following the process as we're explaining it the way Prabhupada taught us, you'll be able to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. And that's the point. We have our friend Nilesh Dalla. Is that correct? Dalla?
Yes, Neil.
Go ahead, Prabhupada.
Neil
Go
Sharma.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yashoda's not here, but go ahead.
Hare Krishna. You know, it's a very interesting question which this Mataji has placed.
Yes.
And with relevance to the picture which you just showed of this so-called guru and his Vyasasana, you know, Krishna consciousness is like a jigsaw puzzle, Mataji. You may not understand it initially because when you're sitting down to try to solve a jigsaw puzzle, you don't know which pieces go where. But then as you consistently and persistently stay with it, you realize which pieces go where. And as you put in those pictures, the whole picture starts forming. And that's when you realize everything. When you read Srila Prabhupada's original books, you will see that nowhere there will be any contradiction of any principle of Krishna consciousness from one book to another or from one situation to another. And this will come with you to you as you study his books closer and closer, meaning you need to study it very minutely. And Prabhupada always encourages it, that if you want to understand Krishna consciousness, you need to read my books very, very in detail. You have to study them. You cannot just do a rapid reading. So when you see, if you have ever been to an ISKCON temple, even today, you will see the deity forms of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, and you will see the deity form of Srila Prabhupada. But if you look at it very closely, you will see that the pedestal or the Vyasasana on which Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's Vyasasana is a little bit higher than the one which is where Srila Prabhupada is sitting. Why is that? Have you ever questioned it? Or have we even noticed it when we see it in detail? When we talk about details, these are the details which we need to know. So you may say like, okay, one chair is bigger than the other. So what? What's the big deal? No, it is a very big deal, because when he is your Guru Maharaj, he is your Guru Maharaj eternally. Janme Janme Prabhu se. Remember, when we talk about Guru Puja, what do we say? Janme Janme Prabhu se, from not only this birth, but all births to follow, you will be my eternal spiritual master. And if he is your eternal spiritual master, he is always reverential to you. Always means in every position. Now, this picture of this so-called guru with his Vyasasana, how does he fit into this picture? We always say, Prabhupada always teaches us, you need to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Dasanu, 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 Das. How does this picture show that this person is the Dasanu Das? He's not even the servant of his own spiritual master. How is he going to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna? So understand the difference. There is a very subtle differences, very minute differences, but very huge differences in philosophy and your final destination. Because if you follow a fake guru or a fake person, remember, you are never going to. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. Meaning, if you don't satisfy your spiritual master, there is no scope for you. Yasya prasada, if you satisfy your spiritual master, you're satisfying Krishna. Na gati kutopi. You will never reach your destination if you don't satisfy your spiritual master. So these things have to come to you slowly and steadily. It may be confusing. It may be sounding that, oh, we are too negative. We are too this. We are too that. No, we are telling you, look at it very critically. So next time when you go to an ISKCON temple, check the Vyasasana heights of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada and see the difference between the two. See the difference between the two. And if you cannot see that difference, then you won't be able to see the difference in the picture which Vishwakarma Prabhu put. But if you see the difference, then everything will click into place. Then everything will click into place. That is why when you come into the temple and when you see a Vaishnava, and if you are serving the deity form, what are you supposed to do if you are a priest? You are supposed to stop your puja of the Archa Vigraha and recognize the Vaishnava. Recognize that Vaishnava. Why? Because you are Dasanu, 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 Das. How are you going to show humility as a Vaishnava? And so that is why you need to even remember this famous bhajan, Vaishnava Janato Tene Kahiye. You know, who is a real Vaishnava? This is made famous by Mahatma Gandhi, but originally it is by a devotee from Gujarat called Narsi Mehta. So all these things we have to kind of put it into place. But at the core of the whole thing, which even Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu says, please study Srila Prabhupada's books very, very in detail. Do not skim to it. Go into, and the beauty lies in the details, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Okay. Without set up, Mother Shrestha Rupa, thank you. That really set up a firestorm of comments. Rupa Rama Raghava, could you read some of the comments that came into the chat here? I saw them there.
The first
yeah,
question
Krishna
was,
Gata, I think it was. Did he write a comment?
the first one was by Bhaktin Shushma.
Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I want to ask the deity worship procedure Prabhupada introduced to his disciples. Nowadays in ISKCON there is a procedure which is different, like they use the method of offering in a sequence of 4, 2, 3, 7. 4 times to the lotus feet, 2 times the belly, 3 times to the face, and 7 times to the whole body of the Lord.
Okay, what we're going to do is reserve that for a future question and answer session. Thank you for the question, Mother. We'll table it for a Saturday or Sunday. What's the now? I think Krishna Kata made a point here, up here. Go ahead, just go to it. There's 3 comments. My thing won't scroll. Darn.
The next one I see is by Mother Shrestha Rupa. She says, so what should we do, Prabhu, to fix ourselves to become better? What is it that we need to observe so we can correct our mistakes? What should we watch in ourselves? How to introspect?
Okay, that's, again, I'm not getting to the points. I just wanted to read. We'll deal with that. We've been dealing with it in the whole program. But the point is this. Here, let's see. My thing won't scroll up, and we're not getting it.
Kevin,
we might have to, yeah, go read Kevin's.
Kevin wrote, if they take that foodstuff offered to the fake gurus, they are eating sin and illness.
Okay, and Vladimir Martnow, he's giving an answer here too. Sushma, so they do not become misled. Another main activity is to protect and promote Prabhupada's legacy by printing and, go ahead, read that one and the one below it.
Krishna Katha Prabhu wrote, another main activity is protect and promote Srila Prabhupada's legacy by printing and distribution of His Divine Grace's original unchanged books.
Yeah.
And then Vladimir Martino said, we follow His Divine Grace's Vani. They don't. That is how we are different. And he says, or at least we honestly are trying to follow His Divine Grace's Vani.
Yeah, and we're living it. We've got 1,000 hours of broadcast to prove it. And here we have, everything lies in the details. Perfect, Nilesh. That's funny. And Srimad Bhagavatam also has written, we cannot directly serve Krishna. We have to serve the Acharyas and Guru. Yes, that's right. It's only 7 times, and Vijay Pandit Ram Raghava Prabhu had a question previously. I have a question about the text 43. The word states Krishna, but the translation states Lord Chaitanya. Same. I think I'd like to reserve that answer, Ram Raghava, for Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, if you don't mind.
Sure.
It's, Lord Chaitanya and Krishna are one anyway, but there may be another technical reason, and that's why Yaśodā-nanda is our chief editor of our program. I always go to him, refer to him. Yes, go ahead.
Also, Kevin wanted to make a short comment on Mataji's question, so.
Okay, Kevin, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, Hare
You're in
Krishna,
Tennessee.
Prabhu.
Are you in Tennessee?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Dandavas, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
And thank you
Yes,
for
thank
coming
you.
every week.
Oh,
Thank you
thank you,
for
Prabhu.
being and you always dance when the kirtan comes up, the music
Jai,
one. You love the music.
Jai.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu. I just wanted to make a short comment based on that question. So Prabhupada, I learned from talking to Prabhupada disciples that Prabhupada taught that we see bogus guru, we see fake guru, sahaja, pretender. We point them out, we challenge them, we criticize them publicly. I heard recording once from Paranjan Prabhu. We recall the past time with being with Prabhupada in Vrindavan, and the disciples, the devotees, they're all invited to some famous gurus, mat, and Prabhupada pointed out, he said, you look at that table, you see that the disciples of this well-known guru were putting lighters and a pack of Marlboro cigarettes on a table for their guru. So Prabhupada was pointing out, saying like, oh, see that? See that? That's what they're giving their gurus. So he said they were showing, Prabhupada was showing them that this is a cheap guru type of program. There was another mat that they were invited to as well, where this guru supposedly took a 14-year vow of silence. And so inside the room, there was a chalkboard, and this guru man would request something. He would write on the chalkboard, I would like a glass of water. I would like this. I would like that. So Prabhupada said, hey, this man is cheating. Look at that. He wants something. He writes on the board. He doesn't have a vow of silence. So he started chastising the man and criticizing him publicly and belittling him right in front of all his disciples. So he said eventually he saw this man, silent man supposedly, stand up out of his chair and started stomping his foot on the ground, all angry. So Prabhupada said, see, he's still attached. So this Paranjan said he learned from Prabhupada that Prabhupada was showing us we challenge fake gurus. We rub them out, we criticize them, we challenge them also if they're bogus. But I just wanted to comment on that. So if there's a photograph of a person, it's almost like a wanted sign. Watch out, fake guru. So we could avoid people getting cheated and misled. I just wanted to give that comment. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Kevin, very much for your offering today. Shrestha Rupa, we'll have one more comment and then we'll move to our next section. Are you clapping or are you asking? Shrestha Rupa Devi Dasi. Go ahead, speak up.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I wanted to thank you for taking this question. I appreciate Nilesh Prabhu and Kevin Prabhu for sharing their thoughts here. The whole idea of me asking this question is because we need to set the trend now. What's happening out there is a lot of confusion. New people do not know what exactly Prabhupada asked us to do. And everybody else who's preaching is saying everything that they like. It's by their whims and fancies. So now it is upon us to do the right thing the right way. And how can we do that? Only when we speak up. And who should speak up all those things? It is somebody who is very, very senior. And how do we set the trend? If we show respect to our hosts, Vishwakarma Prabhu and Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, for learning from them, the methodology. How do we speak to them? That's the first place we start. And then we need to follow what they're instructing us. As a group, it is very important that we all behave and speak in the same way that they expect us to do this. And that is why I asked this question, because I want everybody to understand we are a group which is particularly following the methodology as laid out by Srila Prabhupada. And Vishwakarma Prabhu and Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu are the best that you can find in the world today, because they have walked the path with Srila Prabhupada. They have lived all the 50 years after Srila Prabhupada disappeared, trying to teach the same things the same way they learned. So that's why I asked this question. Thank you so much for participating. Please do send us your feedback, comments, ask a question, more encouragement to everybody who participates, because when you ask questions, we all learn. So please ask questions. There's okay for, any question is a question. Nothing is foolish about asking a question because we don't know what we're doing. Every day you learn. There is no end to learning. And only when you ask and clarify do you enhance your learning. So please ask a question, leave a comment, encourage your friends, family, relatives to please step up and join the movement. This is how we progress. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you for all your comments, and thank our whole group for being here tonight at this Wednesday night Caitanya-caritāmṛta reading and discussion. I'm sorry we didn't have our godbrother Yaśodā-nandana here to end the conversation with his wisdom and guidance. But we're going to move forward with our next section, which is the reading of the 10 offenses. So let's run that. Haribol.
Yeah.
Oh, lecture. Excuse me. Another lecture. Go ahead.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam
नामकारी बहुधा निज शब्द शक्ति तत्रार्पिता नियमित स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैव इति सुनिहा जनिनान राग. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that each and every name of God is as powerful as God, because God is absolute. Therefore, there is no difference between His name, form, pastime. Nothing is different from God. That is absolute knowledge, Advaita. So, if you chant the holy name of God, that means you are directly in touch with God. Because the name is not different from God. Try to understand. Similarly, if you touch fire, it will act. If you do not know or know what is the quality of fire, it doesn't matter. If you touch fire, it will act. Similarly, if you actually chant the holy name of God, it will act. The example is just like you put an iron rod in the fire, it becomes warmer, and gradually it becomes red hot. By the association of fire, the iron rod becomes fire. Iron rod is not fire, but by association with the fire, it becomes as good as fire. So that when it is red hot, you touch anywhere, the iron rod will burn. Similarly, if you keep yourself always in touch with God, then gradually you become godly. You do not become God, but you become godly. And as soon as you become godly, then all your godly qualification will come out. This is the science. Try to understand. We are part and parcel of God. Every living entity. You can study God, what is God, by studying yourself. Because I am part of the slave. If from a bag of rice, if you take a few grains of rice, you see, you can understand what quality of rice is there in the bear. Similarly, God is great, that's all right. But if we simply study ourselves, then we can understand what is God. Just like you take a drop of water from the ocean, you can understand what are the chemical composition of the ocean. You can understand. So, that is called meditation, to study oneself, what I am. If one has actually studied himself, then he can understand God also. Now take for example, what I am. If you meditate upon yourself, you can understand that you are an individual person. Individual person means you have got your own opinion. I have got my own opinion. Therefore, sometimes we disagree. Because you are individual, I am individual. And because we are all individual and part and parcel of God, then God also must be individual. This is study. As I am a person, so God is also person. God cannot be impersonal. If we claim God is the original Father, Supreme Father, the Christian religion believes, all other religion believes, and we also believe Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna says, Aham bija Pradapita, I am the original Father of all living entities. So, if God is Father of all living entities, and we all living entities, we are individual persons, how God can be impersonal? God is person. This is called philosophy, this is called logic. Now, here, in this world, we have got experience that we want to love somebody. Anyone, even in animal kingdom. A lion also loves the cubs. The love is there. Prem, it is called prem. So therefore, this loving affair is there also in God. And when we come in contact with God, our dealing will be simply on the basis of love. I love Krishna or God, and Krishna loves me. This is our exchange of feeling. So in this way, the science of God, even without reading any Vedic literature, of course that will help you. If you are deeply studying what is God, you can understand God. Because I am a sample of God. I am minute particle. Just take the particle of gold is gold. The drop of ocean water is also salty. The ocean is also salty, you can understand. Similarly, by studying our individuality, by studying our propensity, we can understand what is God. This is one side. And here, God personally presents himself, Krishna. He says, Dada Dadahi Dharma, saintly, devoted, and to kill the demons, I appear. But mind that, God is absolute. Either his deliverance of the devotees or killing of the demons, they are the same thing. Because we learn from the Vedic literature that demons who are killed by the personality of Godhead, they also go to the same salvation, liberation point. Because he is killed by God, he is touched by God. So, it is a great science. It is not a sentiment, it is based on philosophy and authorized Vedic literature. So our only request is that you try to take this movement very seriously and you will be happy.
So many points. It's a great science, Prabhupada said. We should take it very seriously. It is very detailed. And Prabhupada mentioned in the lecture, the name and form of God are the same. And if you chant, then the chant will act on you, just like when you take an iron rod and put it in the fire, what happens? It takes on the properties of the fire. And if you touch it, Prabhupada says, if you touch it, it'll burn you. So the transcendental qualities of Krishna are contained in his holy names, in his shastras, and in his devotional service, and in the association of his devotees. Vanchakalpa trubhyascha. That's the reality. If you accept it, you can make advancement. If you don't, you'll be delayed. Philosophy is logical, and it is a great science. We're going to move forward with our next section, which is the 10 offenses. Go ahead.
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8th, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
We have to always weed the garden. It's like a plant, a bija. The gardener, we know people that do gardening, that are expert gardeners, know you have to weed the garden so it doesn't kill the plants. So like that, we always have to work on that. And I wanted to read something. Oh God, it just moved up so fast there. I wanted to read that beautiful quote from Rupa Goswami. Our program is negative and positive simultaneously. We want to negate the materialistic side and make positive the spiritual side. It is not one-sided. So see the logic here. And that's a letter from Srila Prabhupada, November 11th, the 11th day of 1968, from Srila Prabhupada. So excellent information. And Michael Dillon, who's up for initiation, he said powerful. Excellent quote, very informative. And there's so much coming up on our chat, so you can continue to read or you can chant. We're going to move for our next section, which is a group chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra with our membership. And let's move to that. Play the slideshow, Ram Raghava, please.
Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta.
10 seconds.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama
Hare Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama Hare
Ram,
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama Rama Hare
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 Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare Hare
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama Rama
Hare Krishna,
Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
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 Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama Rama
Hare, Hare
Rama Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama Rama
Ram Ram,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama Hare
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Chant and be happy.
Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha. Put that slide up, please.
You want me to say it?
Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
Let us all take this opportunity to offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to attend. A special thanks to Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu in California and Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, for conducting these classes. Thank you to Rupa Goswami Prabhu in Mumbai, Bhaktin Renuka in India, Bhaktin Sushma in India, Forest Temple in Baja, California, Kevin G, wherever you are, Krishna Katha Prabhu, thank you, from San Diego, California, Michael Dillon, Radharani Mataji, to my parents, Viprahita Prabhu and Rasikeshwari Devidasi, Rochisha Mataji in Montreal, Canada, Roy in Mississippi, Vijay Pandit Prabhu, special thanks to you. I think it's like 5 o'clock in the morning there. He stayed up, joined the class at 3 o'clock in the morning, his time in Italy. And last but not least, Vladimir Martino. Thank you, everyone. Please don't forget, Saturday morning, we'll have the Bhagavad Gita reading at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I think that's all I had to say. Vishwakarma Prabhu, did you have any final words?
Just the same. Thank you, everyone. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribhajaka Acharya Astatera Satasri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Play the closing credits. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Play that bass, chant in peace, everyone. Don't be shy, chant along, chant along. Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Bo, Hare Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Hare Bo, Hare Hare Bo, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,